everybody, welcome back to Inside the Artist's Wallet. I'm Stephanie from The Broke and Beautiful Life.
And I'm Mel from Broke Girl Rich, and with us today is Kitty Ostapowicz. She is an actress in New York City. She moved here several years ago and has done lots of different survival jobs to get by, but she has definitely made it well on her path to being a professional actress. And we are going to interview her about how she has gotten as far as she has. How long have you known that you wanted to be an actress?
I knew that I wanted to be an actress when I was 6 years old in Miss O'Connor's pre-K play of The Three Little Pigs, wherein I was cast as the smart pig. And I stopped the show because the pigs in the straw and stick house were fucking up and I would not stand for it. So I came out of my brick house and yelled at them, and that's when I knew that I was going to be an actress.
So then, with that in mind, knowing you wanted to be an actress, is that what you went to college specifically to study?
I did. I went to school for musical theater. It wasn't necessarily that I was, fully invested in musical theater. I just couldn't choose because I had been dancing and singing and in drama club and, everything that I could get my hands on up until that point, until I was 18 years old, and then I just couldn't choose. So I chose musical theater at the University of Buffalo because it had a really great program, wonderful teachers, like really, really wonderful teachers from like a lot of different backgrounds, and the price was right, and I was paying for it myself. So yeah, that's how I started. I went for musical theater, but even within that, I was focusing more on straight theater and just straight acting.
I like how you said that the price was right for the school. How much did finance really affect your decision of where to attend school, or was it not so much on your radar back then?
It was super on my radar. I grew up pretty poor, like realistically speaking. Like we were broke. So I knew from as soon as I could speak that I was gonna pay for it myself, and it was always instilled in me by my parents to focus on my school and get good grades and to be academically accomplished in a way that would allow me to get scholarships and get grants and just to be a good bet for a school to take. And I knew that I was going to be working the whole time, and I started working when I was 13 years old. I had to get special working papers from my guidance counselor to recommend that I was able to dedicate time after school to a job without hurting my studies. And I started working at the Tim Hortons Donut Bakery around the corner from my house. All the donuts I could eat.
You Canadian?
No, I'm from Buffalo.
So you're kind of Canadian.
Canada light.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have student loans?
I do, actually. I'm almost done. I think I'm down to a couple thousand. I was very aggressive with paying them off. I had like a graduated payment plan where, every 6 months or whatever, it would go up a little bit. But I was just throwing money at it when I could. Before I came to New York, I was working in a strip club in Buffalo, bartending. Never took my clothes off for money. Although there's nothing wrong with stripping for money. Personally, I chose not to strip for money. I chose to peddle alcohol for money and pretend that I would strip and be so coy and playful, and then that paid the bills. Yeah, so I was making enough money where I was throwing 5, 6, 7 times my minimum payment to the loan, which was a good idea. And then I had chose to advance my due date. So as of this point, I haven't been throwing money at it because I'm a little tight right now, but because of the fact that I was more aggressive with it in the past, I don't have, there's no due date. I think I'm probably still 4 years ahead of schedule as far as paying it back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's really excellent and inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, there's your short-term outlook and your long-term outlook, and at the time I knew, my monthly expenses in Buffalo were stupid low, and I think about that and I cry sometimes because I think my, bare bones expenses would be around $400. And those of us living in New York know that that's nothing. My rent is more than twice that now, and that's just rent. But yeah, I knew at the time that I had that flexibility, and I'm always sort of looking into the future to try and not be stuck. And it paid off.
What would you say to prospective college students who want to pursue theater and need financial help in terms of choosing a school, and then once they've done that, how to go about paying off the loans in such an aggressive way that doesn't totally take up all their time.
Right. Mine did take up a lot of my time, actually. That's something that if I could go back, I might investigate further. So I grew up in Buffalo, and I ended up going to a SUNY school. I imagine that framework is the same in the rest of the country. Like, there's probably, like, if you grew up in Arizona, like, you go to an Arizona State school for cheaper. Because you have, like, your resident rate versus your out-of-state rate.
Right. That's not cheap. It's just cheaper.
Right. Cheaper. But, like, coming from where I came from, I wasn't going to go to NYU. Like, it wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't. I mean, I could do it, but I would be, I don't know where I would be now. I certainly wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of gotta live within your means while chasing your lofty goals. It's a delicate balance.
I think it's hard to impress that upon a 17-year-old who sees their dream. And I'm just wondering, like, I think maybe from your background it helped you get really grounded in that.
Yeah, I had a really, really rough start. Like, and it's not something to get into here, of course, but like, suffice to say, it would make an amazing television drama. But I knew from pretty much 6 years old that life was going to be terrible. Like, life was going to be really hard, and it was all up to me. So, like, you're right, I've been really realistic in terms of that without sacrificing my goal. Although, you know what, after I did finally get to New York, I did kind of sacrifice my goal just in being afraid to pursue things. Because in Buffalo, I mean, it's the classic, you know, big fish, little pond kind of scenario, and then I jumped into New York, which was a ridiculously huge pond, and I still feel, you know, very small in it, even after pursuing it hardcore, but I got here and I got really scared and I felt thwarted, and so I really did kind of just nose to the grindstone, bartended, but like hustled. I was working, I mean, I just physically can't do it anymore. In my 20s, I was working 4 or 5 nights a week, 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., and then that was it. That's all I did. And I wasn't, like, running around partying. I was banking it all. And because of that, and, like, through the struggle of it all, of feeling like I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, conversely, I had, like, a really nice nest egg built for myself. And I was saying that to Mel when we spoke a couple weeks ago. It's just, like, I don't know if I would feel as secure as I do now. Because I know right now I could go, 6 months without working, and I would be fine. I don't want to, and I won't, and I never stop. Like, I'm always hustling, always picking up side jobs, always, penny pinching. But if it weren't for that hiatus that I took when I got here, I don't know if I'd be in the same spot. So it's hard. It's hard to say. There's no path for anybody to take. It's not like step 1, 2, 3. You kind of have to suss it out for yourself and see where you're at. I wish I had started earlier, but the fact that I didn't kind of gave you the flexibility to be more aggressive about it now.
Absolutely.
So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I think it's really valuable to realize that trade-off and know that there is more than one path, like you said.